ChatGPT said. He came in just after sunrise, paid in quarters, never said much, just coffee, black, no cream. No chit-chat, no phone, no newspaper, just him and that booth by the window. You've probably seen someone like that before, right? Worn denim jacket, boots that had seen more miles than most folks' cars, and this look in his eyes like he wasn't looking at the world. Just threw IT to AT first. I didn't think much of it. I mean, it's a diner, people come and go. Some you remember, some you don't. But this guy, he had this kind of stillness to him, like he carried a silence that had weight. He'd sit there, sip slow, pay in coins, quarters mostly, lined up real neat on the edge of the table, and just vanish like smoke. I'm Emily, by the way. I've worked at Willow Creek Diner for 7 years now. Same counter, same apron, same damn flickering light above the grill that no one ever bothers to fix. You learn not to ask too many questions around here. But something about him just stuck. That first morning, when he dropped the coins and started for the door, I called out, just soft, rough week. He didn't turn, just gave this little nod like, yeah, but I'll survive. I scribbled his bill, but didn't ring it up. Just wrote, paid by E. The cook gave me a look, but didn't say anything. Around here, sometimes you just do a thing. Next morning, he came back. Same booth, same jacket, same silence. I didn't wait for his order, just poured his coffee and added a biscuit this time, fresh out the oven, wrapped in a napkin. On the house. I said. He didn't smile exactly, but his eyes softened. He looked at that biscuit like it was gold. Ate it slow, like it deserved respect. When he left, same deal. Coins on the table, napkin folded perfect. Like a thank you note without the words. By day 3, we had a rhythm. He walked in. I poured coffee, maybe a cinnamon roll if the oven had behaved. No words, just gestures. Nods. The kind of unspoken thing you can't fake. And I started looking for him, Like I'd glance at the clock around 6:55 and think, he's probably pulling off the highway right about now. That day, though, he did something different. I caught him at the counter, kneeling by one of the chairs, the wobbly one the bus boy always griped about. He folded a napkin, wedged it under the leg, gave it a little test push. Fixed it like he'd been doing it all his life. No one asked him. No one even noticed, except me. When I brought him his check, he'd already left. 3 quarters this time, and a folded napkin with a note scribbled in all caps. Your kindness cost more than $1. Thank you. No name. No return address. Just that. I kept that napkin in my apron pocket all day, kept running my fingers over it like it was some kind of relic. That night, I stayed late, just waiting, hoping he'd walk back in. But he didn't. Day 4, still no sign. I poured the coffee anyway, wiped the booth twice, laid a napkin on the corner like some weird little ritual. I started feeling it. That quiet spot in your chest that gets heavy when someone's missing. Even if they weren't yours to miss. By day 6, the booth was still empty. I sat there on my break, just tracing the rim of my coffee cup, whispering to myself, hope you're okay, whoever you are. He never told me his name, but it didn't matter. We had something, wordless, but real. Then came day 7. I walked in early, same as always, and the cook was already flipping through the paper, smirking. You're gonna want to see this, he said, and handed it to me. Page 12. A tiny ad circled in red ink. I read it out loud, barely a whisper. To the waitress at Willow Creek Diner, you reminded an old man what kindness looks like. You made me feel seen, so I made a few calls. Signed, Hank W. And underneath that, get this, it said, free coffee for all truckers, all July. Paid in full. I just stood there. Couldn't even speak. Then the cook pointed to this little image beside the ad, a scanned receipt from a freight company, showing a $1,000 donation to our diner. I didn't even know the guy had a last name. I didn't even know he had a job, to be honest. Right then, the owner walked in from the back, holding an envelope. Came in yesterday's mail, he said. No return address. Think it's for you. Inside was a check. $500, made out to me. But it wasn't even the money that got me. It was the little doodle on the back, just a sketch of a coffee mug with steam rising in these little loops, and under it, in uneven block letters, some roads lead home. Others lead to people like you. That broke me. I stepped outside during my break, arms wrapped tight against the wind. The sky had cleared, but the air still had teeth. I looked out at the road, just watching the trucks fly past, one after another, like maybe his was out there. Maybe he was driving by and didn't stop, but he knew I'd see the ad. He knew I'd get the message. 2 weeks later, we hung a new sign above the diner's front door. Carved wood, hand-painted letters. Hank's Corner. Coffee for truckers. Free every July. Every time I see someone pulling off the highway now, dusty rig, tired eyes, I think of him. The guy who paid in quarters, never asked for anything, and left behind more than most people do with a dozen conversations. Sometimes I wonder what made him stop that first day. Maybe it was just a place to rest. Maybe it was the smell of burnt toast and black coffee. Or maybe, just maybe, it was the chance to feel human again. You never know what someone's carrying until you make space for them to set it down, even for just a few minutes. Oh, now I ask you, when was the last time a small kindness changed something for you? Or someone else? Not the kind you post about, not the flashy stuff. Just a coffee, a biscuit, a folded napkin. You think that kind of thing still matters? Let's hear it. Drop your thoughts below. What's kindness worth to you? What should it be worth? Because sometimes the quietest people leave the loudest echoes. They say people vanish all the time. New town, new name, fresh start. But some folks don't disappear to run from something. They disappear to return to something. And that thought wouldn't leave me alone. It had been almost a month since Hank's last visit. July rolled on with its heavy heat and steady stream of truckers pulling off the interstate, drawn in by the free coffee for truckers sign now swinging above the door like some kind of roadside prayer. Every time I poured a cup, I thought of him. Then one afternoon, just past 3, dead slow between lunch and dinner rush, I got this weird phone call. Static on the line, like someone was calling from the edge of nowhere. The voice was low, gravelly. Is this the diner near mile marker 214? I paused, a little wary. Yeah, Willow Creek Diner. Who's calling? The voice didn't answer at first. Then, he told me if I ever passed through, to stop in. Said you'd remember him. My heart skipped. You talking about Hank? The line went quiet again. Then, barely above the static, he said you'd ask. An hour later, a flatbed truck pulled up outside, engine hissing like a tired animal. A man climbed out, shorter than Hank, younger too, but with that same kind of stillness, same kind of quiet. He walked in, hat in hand, and looked around the place like it was a memory he'd inherited. You Emily? He asked. That I nodded slowly. That he reached into his jacket, pulled out this battered old envelope, sealed with red wax. Who even does that anymore? He told me to give you this. Said not to open it till sunset. Then he ordered a black coffee. No cream, no sugar. Sat in Hank's booth without hesitation. I didn't ask questions. Not yet. At 8:14 p.m. Exactly when the sun hit the edge of the highway and painted the windows amber. I opened that envelope. Inside was a single photo. Grainy, faded, black and white. Hank, maybe 30 years younger, standing next to an old gas pump with a girl perched on the hood of a Chevy. Her hair wild in the wind, smile frozen in mid-laugh. And on the back, written in that same all-caps block handwriting, she was my home. The road never led back. But you made it feel close again. Underneath the photo was an address. Just coordinates, really. Latitude, longitude. Scribbled under them. One more cup, if you're willing. I don't know what made me go. Curiosity? Closure? Something deeper? I told the cook to cover my morning shift, packed a thermos of black coffee and a tin of biscuits, and hit the road at dawn. The coordinates led me 2 towns over, past a collapsed barn and an old cemetery fence. I pulled up to what used to be a gas station, just a husk now, vines wrapped around broken signs, pump handles hanging like wilted arms. But the booth was still there. An old vinyl bench set into the wall, faded red, facing the road. And he was there. Not Hank, not exactly, but a shadow of him, sitting on that bench like he never left. Maybe I imagined him. Maybe it was the heat playing tricks. But I swear to God, he looked up and nodded. So I sat, poured 2 cups, set a biscuit between us. Morning, Hank, I said quietly, The wind moved through the grass like a whisper that I stayed there for an hour, maybe more. No words, just the hum of the world, the creak of time shifting. When I finally stood to leave, I found something tucked under the empty thermos, a coin. A single quarter, polished clean. Heads up, when I got back to the diner, I placed that coin in the tip jar. Didn't tell anyone where it came from. But the next morning, there was a man waiting at the door. Said he'd heard about the trucker coffee thing from a friend of a friend. Said the world needed more places like this. He left $100 as a donation. Week later, a woman came through with her teenage son. Turns out Hank helped her change a tire in Kansas 3 years ago and told her, "If you ever get to Willow Creek, ask for the girl who serves coffee like it's a hug." And it kept happening. One by one, strangers started finding their way to us. They weren't lost, just looking for something kind, something steady, something like Hank. Eventually, we added a second plaque to the wall under the sign. First one still reads Hank's Corner, coffee for truckers, free every July. But the second one says, "To those who carry more than freight, this corner's for you." And yeah, some people scoff, call it cheesy, say it's just a marketing thing. But others, they feel it. They sit in that booth like it matters. And sometimes, late at night, when the place is quiet and the pot's down to its last few ounces, I'll pour an extra cup, set it down at the window seat, just in case, because maybe, just maybe, some people don't vanish. Maybe they just ripple outward. One quarter at a time. So I'll ask you again. Do you believe in that kind of ripple? Have you ever met someone who changed your direction without ever asking for anything back? Tell me you're Hank. Or tell me why you think none of this means anything. Either way, the coffee's on, and the booth's still open.